convidado especial. Sir Ronald Cohen é um investidor internacional, empresário, filantropo, inovador em finanças sociais e pioneiro em impacto. Em 2012, ele recebeu o Prêmio de Inovação em Finanças Sociais da Fundação Rockefeller e, entre 2013 e 2015, ele presidiu o Grupo de Trabalho de Investimento de Impacto Social do G8. Em 2022, lançou o livro Impacto, um novo modelo de capitalismo para gerar mudanças verdadeiras no mundo. E é considerado hoje um dos papas do investimento de impacto. Ele é uma personalidade ousada e propõe a revolução do impacto. É triste que ele não pôde estar presencialmente conosco hoje, mas enviou um vídeo que, esperamos, inspire em vocês.
Que prazer estar com vocês.
Fórum in São Paulo. I wish I could be there in person with you, but I'm speaking to you from France. Philanthropists have a major role to play in the impact revolution which is underway. And the impact revolution itself is transforming the way in which philanthropists can act and must act. What is the impact revolution? The impact revolution is basically shifting our economic system from measuring risk and return to measuring risk, return, and impact, created by companies and by investors. And the pivot point for this revolution is transparency on the impacts created by companies. We see the SEC, we see the EU, we see IFRS, which is responsible for all financial accounting across the world except the US, all focusing now on measuring the environmental and, in the case of IFRS and the EU, the environmental and the social impacts that companies create and transform them into standardized metrics, tons of carbon, liters of water, and the next step, which I'm proud to say I'm playing a role in leading, is valuing these impacts. So the International Foundation for Valuing Impacts, a spin-off from a Harvard Business School effort over the last 3 or 4 years, is actually standardizing the valuation of impacts. And what this is going to do is it's going to give investors the ability to discriminate between which company they invest in, according to its profit and its impact. And Tesla is the first example of a company that built itself not just on risk and return, but on risk, return, and impact. Its first consumers and its continuing attraction to consumers comes from the environmental impact that it creates. And when we begin to measure impacts, it affects everyone. It affects entrepreneurs, it affects investors, it affects companies, it affects governments that can begin to tax and give tax credits for the right sort of impact, and it affects philanthropists. For philanthropists, it shifts them. It shifts us, because I'm a philanthropist too, as you know. It shifts us from measuring the inputs that we make into charitable organizations and that they make into populations, to measuring the outcomes that our charitable giving achieves. And when we begin to measure outcomes, we begin to open up a world where we can begin to fund organizations according to the outcomes that they have achieved. We can agree to pay for the outcomes when they've been achieved and enable the organizations on the basis of the contracts we sign to raise investment capital, to grow like a business. And the more impact they deliver, the more lives they improve, the better the returns to investors, and the more money investors can raise. And the other thing that it leads us to do as philanthropists is to align our investment activities in the endowments of our foundation with the aims of the foundation. Not to find ourselves investing in fossil fuel companies and creating environmental damage, and then using our philanthropic donations to try to remedy that damage through investment in charitable organizations. So those are the ideas I wanted to share with you as you debate the future of philanthropy in Brazil. And my bottom line for you all is this impact revolution is something that philanthropists are leading in many countries now. In the United States, the Ford Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation, the Skull Foundation, the Hewlett Foundation, the Rockefeller Foundation are just examples of those who have understood that the world of philanthropy is changing and that it can deliver a lot greater impact than it has done before with the resources at its disposal. So I wish you a very productive meeting and look forward to seeing the results of all your efforts.